All right, hey guys, Jerry from Showtime Audio. So we have Glenn's 2016 Ferrari F12. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. It is got the carbon fiber, lowered, front splitter. I mean, it's just an amazing, amazing machine. Glenn actually found out about us. He saw one of our YouTube videos on previous couple of Ferraris that we've done, and he needed some stereo work done. It's actually a repair. Well, he couldn't find anybody to do it, so he drove the car from Michigan. It's about a 4-hour drive for him. There's no option, and we'll explain a little bit more why. If you look, you can't tell anything. So this is the stock panel. It went right back in. The amplifier, and we'll show you some video, the amplifier lives right here. So now the reason the car's here, and it was a 4-hour ride, is because it has a JBL professional amp. So that is the top tier audio package for this vehicle. So the vehicle has 12 speakers and 14 channels of amplification. The reason that is because the door woofers are actually dual voice coil woofers that are in the doors themselves. So we ended up doing is we did a Audison Forza M12 with a DRC AC, which is a volume controller. The reason the car's here is because that amplifier is like the holy grail. You can't get this thing. It's discontinued. They don't make it. Nobody has an alternative. So basically there's no way to get it. That's a huge problem because if you can't get the amplifier, none of the infotainment works. So none of the audios, none of the chimes, nothing works, right? So that's the reason the client's here. Why can't you just throw a regular amp in it? Well, first, it's 12 channels. Technically, it's 14 channels. So there's not very many 14 channel amplifiers. Second, you need a DSP. You need a digital signal processor so that you can fix the signal. Third issue is the audio coming out of the factory radio is fixed. So in other words, the audio coming out of the radio is always at full volume. The way it controls the volume is when you turn the dial, it communicates to the amp and the amplifier turns up and down the volume. So the audio volume control is actually done in the amplifier. Well, if the amplifier is missing, guess how we do that? You don't, right? So this is why we have to add in a separate controller. So what we ended up doing is fabricating a mount and putting the controller in the middle, and now that is your volume. It makes it nice and easy, and it still functions great. Now the other cool benefit of doing this is the thing sounds amazing. You know, we got it all wired up, turned it on, adjusted it, and we're like blown away. They're the factory speakers, but we have ton more power and ton more control. So it just makes it unreal. It just sounds so much better. Especially for a high performance vehicle, you would expect a high performance audio system. Now, the other cool thing was, and this took a little bit longer than it normally would, because we made all the plugs in the mount. So we didn't have the original amplifier and we didn't have the original mount. So what we ended up doing is Hondo fabricated a mount so that it bolts in exactly as if it came from the factory. And then we ended up making and repinning plugs. They don't make Ferrari plugs, but they make plugs that are, let's say, used for another vehicle. So we take that and just repin it and reconfigure it in order to work. So now we have a plug and play solution for this problem. Like this amplifier actually exists in most of your, well, not most, all of your Ferrari F12s, your California T's. There's probably a few others, but the nice thing is there's now a solution, because otherwise there's no way to get this thing working. Like basically you have to wait till one of these amplifiers comes available or try and send yours out and see if it can get repaired. But that still only gets you to 0. It doesn't improve the audio. It doesn't improve the clarity, the volume, the impact, none of that. All right, so this is our DRC AC. So we ended up putting it right here so that you can easily reach it. Now, this is the original. So you do this normally, this is your volume, this tiny little nub, and then now it's here. So to us, this is much easier because, you know, your hand kind of rests here, so you can just, you know, go like this. I mean, obviously if you're driving, this is a little closer, but it's still not a, you know, not a far reach. And then this, like I said, allows you to control the volume, and you can actually see how much volume you have in the system itself.
Visit our website at showtimeaudiochicago.com.